Welcome to Tent Talk, the podcast with Nancy McCready, where we talk about life under the big tent of God's presence and the provoking process of discipleship. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tent Talk. This is Nancy McCready. Boy, is it time for us to come out of our prideful, arrogant judgments where we are either always the victim or the lone perfect person. It's time that we step into the full judgment of God so we can receive the full provision of God. So be sure to listen to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe, review, and rate Tent Talk 5 stars to help us get the message out. Thanks so much. All right, good to be together again here on Tent Talk. So recently in an episode, I talked about the deep, unexplainable loyalty of God to each one of us. And I highlighted that by reading from a few pages out of my new book, From Trauma to Trust, The Making of a Messenger. And in it, I was highlighting how offended I was with my mom, her lack of protection of me, and how in my pride I thought how embarrassed God must be of her, and the judgment that I had passed on her was so intense and improper because I judged that she was in a category separate from me. I, of course, would never have done something like that. And in that improper judgment, I determined that I wasn't even capable of doing that. And therefore, she was in this separate category all on her own. As we all often do, we put others who have offended us in a category all their own. And of course, it is separate from us. We do not see that we are capable of these things. We do not believe that we could ever be like that. And so therefore, in our ignorant pride, we are saying things oftentimes to ourselves, to others, and to God that are absolutely absurd when it comes to this issue of judgment. You see, Romans 2, 1 through 4 says that we will, as we judge and condemn others, we will habitually, not occasionally, we will habitually practice the very same thing. But the reason that we oftentimes don't see it is because of bitterness. The bitterness has blinded us to the truth that we are all capable of all things. Now, in the book, if you've had a chance to read it, or hopefully if you will read it, you will realize what a foretelling, a foreshadowing this was of my own season of having to see how devastatingly capable I am of inflicting harm on others, how dangerous I am when I do not take my need to the Father and I continuously take it to myself and judge things improperly as though I am only the victim of others, not being the perpetrator myself of sin and of inflicting harm and callous indifference upon those whom I say that I love. And so there was this particular statement that God made to me in this excerpt that I read previously on another episode, where God said something to me that just shocked me. And he was saying to me that when others would come and complain to him about me, you see, this was in the context of me coming to him complaining about my mom. God said to me, after revealing his deep, intense, and wonderful and great love for my mom, that he said to me, Nancy, if other people come complaining to me about you, I'll be loyal to you also. Well, you see, that was a great truth, but it was also a great foreshadowing in years to come that there would be much reason for others to come to God and complain about me. Now, at the time, I was oblivious, but God was truly planting a deep, deep seed of truth and of loyalty to me, so that in times when I would be the one being judged as, hurtful, sinful, callous, indifferent. I would be judged as being self-indulgent, selfish, harmful, dangerous, and all of these descriptions, my friends, absolutely true. Those judgments are absolutely true. This is why I make the statement that you can't tell a rumor on me that's worse than the truth. Now, I'm really praying that every one of us come to this, whatever your circumstances, whatever the situations may be. We need to realize that we are capable of all things, and not just a theoretical capacity, but I pray experientially that you will actually begin to see things, what you have done or what you are capable of from His point of view, so that you can come to a place to rightfully judge. Proper judgment will finally come to us. And that means that we finally come to agree with Him about what His judgment is upon everything. And He has judged that all of us in Adam are capable of all things. You see, if I can blame what I've done on someone's harm to me, then I'll have to allow those who have abused me to blame what they've done to me on others.
For more information on Nancy, please visit nancymccready.com or follow her on social media at NBMcCready.
And listen to me carefully. That's never going to be an explanation that satisfies the deep cry for justice that comes from all of us if we're finally, honest. This cry for justice is going to have to meet this execution of judgment that God has brought, that we begin to see things, all things, justice, judgment, everything from God's point of view. Then and only then, my friends, can we come to the right conclusions, that we can come to the right provision of Christ Himself, of Christ Himself on the cross, and realize it is the answer to everything. The answer to everything is Jesus and Him crucified. For there we find that God Himself is satisfied. We will then be satisfied, and every accusation of the enemy will be met in total truth as we come into agreement with God about His judgment upon all things. You see, when God said to me that day, Nancy, when someone comes complaining to me about you, I'll be loyal to you also. In all of this, I want to highlight that there did come a day when I desperately needed the full loyalty of God and the full judgment of God. I needed His judgment to be executed upon me. I needed to come into agreement with Him about it. I needed to let Him pay for everything, deal with everything, reveal everything. And when that cutting clarity comes, because the cross is finally having its way inside of us, and I pray it is in you as it is in me, then we come to see that God is the only good one and that He has shared His goodness with us. It's our only hope, Christ in us, the hope of glory, the hope of everything. So I pray that this encourages you today. Come out of your own prideful, arrogant ignorance of thinking that somehow you're not capable of what your father or mother did. When someone would say, I am not my father, I am not my mother, I'm like, well, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. I am them, and I'm every other person on the face of the earth. No matter what they're capable of, what they have done, so am I. You see, this is why Paul finally came to the place where he said, I am the chiefest of all sinners. He wasn't saying that he was still a sinner. He's saying, when I was the biggest one. There is nothing that was outside the realm of possibility with me in the height of my goodness. This is what Paul was saying. Oh, how we all need to come to this place. So, I pray that this short episode today has been provoking to you. I pray you'll come into agreement with God's judgment so that you can receive the full out provision of Jesus crucified so that you can get up and live the life that God came to bring to you, which is life lived in full abiding oneness with Him. So, thanks for taking time today to listen in here at Tent Talk. I pray that you will receive what you need today to take the next steps in your life in moving forward with God. I really do hope that you'll give us a 5-star rating. I hope that you'll write a review that encourages others to take a listen. I hope you'll subscribe and that you'll share, because all of this, my friends, is about getting the message out that God is fully able to take care of everything, and we can be fully one with Him. So, love you all. Talk to you soon.
If you'd like information on how to book Nancy McCready for an event or speaking engagement, visit nancymccready.com.